Again, I grew up in the aftermath of the Second World War. My father and the fathers of all my friends had fought in that war, and we had no doubt at all in our minds that they had been brave men fighting for a noble cause. We had toy soldiers of British and Germans, and the favourite playground game was Germans and English, which continued during summer evenings on bomb sites when we were playing out. There was a certainty in those days that the war had shown Britain at its very best. Hardly any man had refused to fight and do his bit. By the end of the war, roughly 3.5 million British men had served in the armed forces, and just 60,000 had refused to do so out of cowardice or highfalutin principles. That means that 99.9% of men had gone to war unhesitatingly. Without them, this country would have been finished and the Krauts would have won the war by default. It couldn't happen today, of course, because so many young men today are more concerned with rights rather than right. A recent survey indicates that more than half of 18 to 35-year-old men would refuse to join up if they were conscripted. They wouldn't fight. That is what the steady erosion of patriotism which began in the early 1960s has done to our nation. It's produced a generation who would not fight to defend their own country and way of life. What has caused this decline in patriotism and disinclination to defend one's country? In 1960, those men who had fought in the First and Second World Wars were regarded as heroes, and everybody was proud of them. By 1970, though, they were thought of as gullible fools, mugs who had been misled. Books like Alan Clark's Donkeys, published in 1961, and the musical Oh What a Lovely War, created a revisionist view of the First World War designed to make the men who fought in it look like gullible dupes rather than heroes. Much the same thing began to be said of the men who fought Germany in the Second World War as well. By the 1980s, this revised version of history became the standard view, and the idea of altruistically going to war for your country and perhaps sacrificing your life in the process was viewed by an awful lot of people as a mug's game. This perspective has now become entrenched and hardly improved by the fact that so many young people do not feel any kind of loyalty to this country in the first place, because their parents and grandparents were born in other parts of the world. I seriously doubt if Britain would ever in the future be able to display that astonishing unity which was seen during both the First and Second World Wars. Those days are gone, and all we can do today is pause for a moment and remember the heroism of that past generation.